So here's what we know. World Cup winner Paul Pogba returns from the World Cup, is made captain by Jose Mourinho for Manchester United's opening game against Leicester, scores a penalty in that game and is on the winning side at the end of it. Then there have been reports that Pogba and Mourinho have had a row, that Mourinho has said to Pogba, if you're not happy after the comments he made in the media, or to the media rather than in the media, then you can ask for a transfer request. Pogba reported to have said, if you want to talk to me, you can talk to my agent, Mino Raiola. I mean, the club are saying this isn't true.
No.
Broadly, they're saying this isn't true.
That's like they would do, wouldn't they?
However, where do you think, if this does, because there clearly are problems between Mourinho and Pogba, reading between the lines, so where does the balance of power lie? I
think it lies with Pogba. And you mentioned the World Cup, that has ramped up the ante on his side of it. You have to, you know, and when you look as well with Ed Woodward is going to be in Pogba's corner. And I think that he's going up against them too, and they're pretty powerful against him. You look at, like I say, Pogba winning the World Cup, coming back, you know, and the arguments continuously. I don't know, there was a statement come out today saying that it's all lies and it's happening, you know. And when you throw into the mix the two agents, two powerful agents, probably the most powerful agents in the world, you know, and the commercial value to Manchester United for Paul Pogba is something that is massive for people like Ed Woodward and Manchester United and Man United fans in respect of a great player who's proven that he can play and deliver the goods, you know, and you've got a manager who's just upsetting the apple cart. And
as much as some fans would want to believe that journalists will make things up and put things out there just at the top of their head, stories have to come from somewhere, Joleon. So, despite the fact that the club are saying this didn't happen, why are we talking about it? Why is it still of interest to us?
Yeah, the details of the story suggest that it's come from somewhere, and possibly Paul Pogba's side. I can't see why Jose Mourinho would want to leak that and give any information away about a private discussion. But going back to what Ian said, I think the power is with Paul Pogba. I think if you look at the value overall and what Paul Pogba means to Manchester United and what Jose Mourinho means, I know they would get a lot more money for Paul Pogba selling him, but overall it would mean more to them, future earnings and obviously progressing and being a force in Europe again.
And Pogba, before the World Cup, you see even the little dig, what he's given Mourinho about, you know what I mean, I'd like to say something. He didn't stop and speak, but he gave them enough to just start this all off. And there's no way that Jose Mourinho is not going to come back and say something. And that is where this has all come from.
Would Mourinho be within his rights to do that?
I think that you say would he be within his rights to do it. Obviously, Paul Pogba has done it simply because of the new power that he feels that he has.
Also, the comment from Jose Mourinho during the World Cup about him.
That's not going to help him.
Yeah, I think obviously Paul Pogba's felt that was an issue and he wanted to have a little dig back. And it's in Jose Mourinho's best interest to stop this and maybe stroke Paul Pogba's ego a little bit. He may not be used to that, may not want to do that, but Man United need Paul Pogba more than any Jose Mourinho.
At the moment, yeah.
But he has had experience of dealing with players like this.
Yeah.
Most recently, Ibrahimovic, where he was dealing with someone who, you know, doesn't have a particularly small ego, doesn't have a particularly small personality, and Mourinho seemed able to cater to him and to massage his ego, so, or at least, you know, at least deal with it. So why not in this case?
I can't understand it. And when you look at the way that he left Chelsea, his second tenure, and how upset the players were and how poorly they played, and in the end he got the sack. Mourinho, you know, one of the greats, got the sack because of the way, you have to say, he lost that dressing room. You'd look at the way it's going right now, and, you know, I don't know how happy Man United fans are. Can they be happy with everything that's going on at the moment? Because, like I said earlier on, everything's going to come back to them two, no matter what they do. Even if they do start playing the kind of football that you want to see Man United playing, really quick, vibrant, great stuff, it's still going to be what's happening with Pogba, what's happening with Mourinho. And I think that that's going to be a distraction for the whole season. And now, with Pogba, is he going to go in January now? I know he can't go now, but then when the window opens in January, is he going to go then? And it's just going to continue to go on. Some stage, them two are going to have to do something. They're going to have to sit down and sort it out for the best, for Manchester United, for the best interest of Man United.
Well, why do you think that Pogba's more important to Manchester United than Mourinho?
I just think that the way the game's gone, I think Paul Pogba is a phenomenal player. There's no doubts about
he's
that.
a star player.
And obviously results at the moment are not as good as Man United would like. And at the head of that is Jose Mourinho. I don't think anyone's really questioning his tactical ability and knowledge, but as a man manager, I don't think he's evolved enough for this new generation of players. I think obviously when he was at Chelsea, the likes of Frank Lampard and Michael Ballack and John Terry, that generation of player got what he was trying to sell and bought into it, and it worked. Where this new generation, speaking as a father, it's different. So I think you do need to.
How is it different?
It's just, as I said, they're more temperamental. And I think Jose Mourinho's best asset ally this season could be Michael Carrick. We know from last season that Paul Pogba does respect him. He took charge, we know, at the Manchester derby when they were 2-0 down, and look at the performance Paul Pogba put in the second half. So if Jose Mourinho wants to get the best out of Paul Pogba, that is an ally there he's got in Michael Carrick.
Mourinho and Pogba, not the only two players in this, though.
What do you mean?
Well, if you look at, you've got the richest football club in the world, in Manchester United. You have Ed Woodward, who came in for some criticism from the Manchester United fans for his dealings in the transfer window. There seemed as though there was an issue between him and Jose Mourinho from some of the comments that Mourinho made in pre-season. Then you have Mourinho's super agent in Jorge Mendes. Then you have Pogba's agent, another super agent in Mino Raiola. And then you have Mourinho and Pogba themselves. This isn't just about these two men.
So then, it's a great point. And when you look at it like that, then even if Mourinho and Pogba do sort it out, you've got Raiola and Jorge Mendes. You know, they're two agents who they're going to probably, their egos will get involved. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end up, and this is why. It's in the best interest for Man United, for someone at Man United, whether Ed Woodward can do it, and they've got to stop it. They've got to get. They're lucky that it's very early in the season, so as it can be quashed and they can concentrate on playing football. Because if they don't, I think it's just going to rumble on all the way through the season. And then, you know, yes, we saw Man United finish second last season. They need to be right amongst it to stay amongst the Liverpool and the Manchester City. So they don't need these distractions. They need their star player, and they need Paul Pogba to be playing at his best. And Mourinho needs to get on board with that and just get going now. He needs to he's the one who should be quashing this.
I'm interested why neither of you are putting much responsibility on Pogba to stop talking about this situation.
Well,
because he
really
was the one
talking,
who
though,
went
is he?
through the mix zone and
said
spoke
what he
to
said.
people and said, I can't speak without being fined. He reignited this.
Yeah, but what has he said that has been out of order and disrespect? He's not really said anything. We know that there's a problem with what Mourinho was saying, because he was kind of saying the things during the World Cup, like Joleon said there. You know, he's saying stuff that's wound him up. Now he's come back armed with the World Cup, dabbed with the World Cup, and, you know, he's now got more power. And the reason why I said it earlier on, Kel, is that he just gave them that little snippet because he knows he's got the power. And I believe that Ed Woodward is probably in his corner. You know, he's definitely in his corner, because I don't believe that Paul Pogba comes out and says that if he doesn't feel he's got the power to be able to do that. So you're saying, why shouldn't we say Paul Pogba's out of order? Really, out of order saying what? That, you know, what's he... I don't think he's out of order in any aspects.
Yeah, I'm the same. I said I don't know exactly what he's done that's that wrong. He came back and he had 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks off. He came back, made himself available after 4 days training, which I don't know many players to do that, and put in a match-winning performance. Yeah, there were some comments made after the game, but overall, he's been a credit just far this season. I know it's only early, but he's made himself available when Mourinho was in a hole.
Jose Mourinho not doing enough then by making him captain, by talking positively at the end of the game?
Because Valencia's out. If Valencia was fit, he probably wouldn't be captain.
But he could have made anyone else captain.
But then even if he did make captain, he didn't tell him himself, apparently. He didn't even tell him. So Michael Carrick got someone else to tell him. You know, I think that would have been the perfect opportunity to get him in, really talk it out and thrash it out, sort it out and say, right, we're going to really have a good season. You know, I'm going to make you captain. I'm going to see how it goes when Valencia comes back, but if you perform like I want to see you, that would have been a magnificent opportunity to do something like that.
And then it just flips it back onto Paul Pogba. Then if all these stories come out after Mourinho said, you're captain, you won the World Cup, this is what I want you to lead the team. The way he did, we've seen the videos of him doing in the World Cup, and then all the stories come out of him, Barcelona links, then you know it's Paul Pogba's side.
Then you've got an infused Pogba ready to go, coming off of the back of a World Cup. But for me, that's man management, isn't it, surely? You know what I mean? I'm sitting there, I'm not even a manager, and I feel that I could probably see how to manage Paul Pogba.
But in the past, he's done it, as you said, Zlatan. He's done it with Samuel Eto'o. I'm sure he played on the wing for most of the season when they won the treble. Yeah. So he has got it in him to manage and manage egos where there just seems a problem, maybe a personal problem with Paul Pogba.
Can you see where it's going?
I can with Zidane in the,
well,
in the shadows.
But this is the other point, isn't it? Is that suddenly these reports come out that he may be interested in the Manchester United job. Does that add something to this situation?
Massively, simply because of who it is as well. If it is Zidane, the Man United fans would absolutely love that. Let's might well put that straight out there. The players would love that. The players that would want to come to Man United simply because Zidane's there. Everybody loves Zidane. So it's a situation where, especially when you're seeing, like we're seeing, Edward was saying, well, OK, if it was Varane, I'd give you the money, but if you're going to get those players like you got before, we don't really know how we're going to get the money. But you start telling Mourinho you can't have money to buy players, you're starting to tell him, we don't kind of trust you to buy that player anymore. Those are signs. Those are signs. And then you've got a great manager out there, not working at the moment, ready to come back to a club of that stature. If he's not thinking about that, then he must be thinking about that.